And I think you moved up and eventually you did a fairly serious crime.
Yeah, as my drug use grew and I became a well-known drug dealer and I was starting selling heroin and cocaine, and I sort of moved up the ladder, and we were turning over quite a lot of money, thousands of pounds a week. There's 3 of us. I'm the only one left alive. One of my friends, I held him while he died of overdose, and the other one was shot and killed while I was in prison. And when I was asked, another associate came to me and said, "Do you want to get involved in an armed robbery?" And I just, yeah, well, why not? Why not?
As you do.
As you do.
And what happened?
I was the driver, so I went and I stole a car, crossed the border into South Yorkshire, stole the car and brought it back into West Yorkshire, because there was at least a 7-day period before South Yorkshire police would tell West Yorkshire police that the car had been stolen, so you could drive round quite happily without being pulled over.
So you did the robbery?
We did the robbery. We thought we'd got away with it, and the first I knew that we hadn't got away with it was when the armed response and the dogs and the Black Maroyas were kicking my door down. So yeah, it caught up with me in the end.
And how long were you sent to prison for?
5.5 years. I did just short of 4.
And when you got into prison, how did you respond to that?
Once I was in there and I knew I was going to be there for a while, I thought, Darrell, if you're going to be bad, you're going to be the best kind of bad you can possibly be. And I consigned myself to being as violent as I could possibly be, continuing to sell drugs while I was inside, and bringing them into the prison through visits in various different ways. And I got into lots of fights, lots of violence, assaulting prison officers, spent a lot of time in segregation on 24-hour lockdown, and moved around a lot.
And someone came and asked you a question. Tell us about it.
I was in a welding shop in HMP Wolds, a Category A prison near Hull. And there was a guy coming round with a clipboard, another inmate with a clipboard. It wasn't someone I'd speak to, he was a muppet. It wasn't... And I thought he was signing people up to like an education program or something. And he came up to me and he said, "Would you like to go on an alpha course?" I said, "Well, what's an alpha course?" He said, "Oh, it's in the chapel." And as soon as he said chapel, I thought, "Oh, great, Bible basher." And I said, "Look, get out of my face before I slap you." And he was under no illusion that I would have slapped him, and he did the best impression of Speedy Gonzales I've ever seen. He just shot off. And but God bless him and his courage, because he came back the following day with his clipboard, and he came up to me, and I was about to dish him out the slap I'd promised him the day before, when he blurted out really quickly, "You get Wednesday afternoon out of Bang Up, you get free coffee and you get free biscuits." I said, "I'll see you on Wednesday, sunshine."
And I think you took 1 or 2 people with you?
I did. I went round the workshop and I rounded up all my mates from the workshop and said, "Come on, lads, we're going on Alpha." It was my first evangelistic act and my outreach event, all rolled into one.
And what happened to you on Alpha?
When I arrived there, I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting what I found. There was a chaplain from the prison, and the other 2 people running the course, it was 2 retired nuns. How old have you got to be a retired nun? It was less age concern and more mummy returns. It was...
And what was it that got you about those 2 women?
These 2 ladies, we laid into them. We gave them a hard time. The usual stuff. God doesn't exist. Even if he did, what's he ever done for me? What do you know about life? You've been in a nunnery for 50 years. What can you tell me about living? But these 2 ladies, they just came back at us and never got angry, not once, and they came back at us with love and compassion over and over again. These 2 girls were just love bombs, and they just kept on loving, kept on coming with the compassion, and that's a pretty big sledgehammer to get hit with, especially... I thought I would never feel anything other than anger and hate ever again. I didn't think I had the capacity to love or feel love ever again in my life. I was dead on the inside, so when they hit me with that love sledgehammer, it hit me hard.